Welcome to the Expensive Coins History channel, and thank you for joining me today as we explore one of the most talked about British decimal coins ever produced. This is the story, the history, and the true value of the 1971 Queen Elizabeth II new pence 2p coin, often believed to be rare, mysterious, and even worth a surprising amount of money. But how much of that is true, and what is this coin genuinely worth in the year 2025? Let's take a deep and detailed look. The journey of the 1971 new pence 2p coin begins during one of the most significant monetary changes in modern British history. On the 15th of February 1971, the United Kingdom officially adopted decimalisation, transforming the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence into the simpler decimal structure we know today. As part of this transformation, several new coins entered circulation, and among them was the 2p coin bearing the inscription New Pence. This inscription was chosen to distinguish the new decimal coins from the old pre-decimal denominations during the transition period. The coin features the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machin, a design that became iconic in British coinage. The reverse side displays the plume of ostrich feathers associated with the Prince of Wales, accompanied by the words New Pence and the number 2 beneath. The coin was struck in bronze, giving it the rich coppery appearance that collectors instantly recognize. Its weight, size, and metallic composition remained consistent for years, and millions of these coins were produced to ensure a smooth rollout of the new currency. Because 1971 was the very first year of decimal coin production, the government minted an enormous quantity of new pence 2p coins. More than 1 billion were struck, meaning that for most people, these coins were once extremely common in everyday circulation. Even today, examples from that year are still easy to find in old drawers, savings jars, and inherited coin collections. For this reason, the standard 1971 2p coin is not considered rare in its normal form. However, the story becomes more interesting when we look at why so many people today believe this coin might be worth a fortune. Across online marketplaces and social media, countless listings claim that the 1971 new pence coin is a rare piece worth hundreds or even thousands. Some sellers describe their coins as extremely rare, no longer produced, or possessing special features that make them valuable. And while it is true that these coins are no longer being minted, that alone does not make them valuable. The high mintage volume means that almost all 1971 coins are common, especially if they show signs of circulation or wear. But there is one area where significant value can exist: genuine minting errors. An error coin is a coin that leaves the mint with a flaw in its striking process. These flaws can include off-center strikes, double strikes, misaligned dies, or rotations of the design. For the 1971 2p, error coins do exist, and when they are confirmed to be legitimate examples, collectors are willing to pay more for them. The rarer the error and the better the condition, the higher the potential value. Mint state errors, especially those preserved without circulation damage, can achieve strong prices at auctions and private sales. Even so, it is important to understand that many coins advertised as rare errors are actually normal coins with natural wear, staining, or slight imperfections caused by circulation. These do not increase the value at all. Many collectors and experts warn new buyers to be careful and to avoid overpaying for coins simply because a seller claims they are rare. The real value comes only from authenticated errors or coins in genuinely exceptional condition. So, what is the actual, realistic market value of the 1971 new pence 2p coin in 2025? For a standard circulated example, the value remains modest. Most are worth between a few pence and a few pounds depending on their condition, with well-preserved uncirculated pieces sometimes reaching higher prices in the collecting market. Coins that come from original uncirculated decimal sets generally carry more appeal, especially those with bright original luster and no handling marks. These can be worth more to collectors assembling high-grade decimal collections. The highest values belong to confirmed error coins. Certain dramatic errors can sell for hundreds, and in some extreme cases even over 1,000, but only when they are verified, genuine minting mistakes. These examples are uncommon and do not appear frequently. Most coins being listed online for extraordinarily high prices are simply standard coins with unrealistic price tags attached. The key is to distinguish between wishful thinking and genuine numismatic value. If you own a 1971 new Pence 2-pence coin and would like to know whether it might be valuable, begin by checking the condition. A coin with bright original luster and no signs of circulation is worth more than a tarnished or scratched example. Next, examine the coin carefully for any unusual features that might indicate a minting error. Look for misalignment, doubling of the design, off-center striking, or any unusual marks that appear to be part of the minting process rather than signs of wear. If anything unusual stands out, consider having the coin inspected by a reputable coin dealer or grading service. The 1971 new Pence 2-pence coin remains an important piece of British monetary history. It marks the beginning of decimalisation and the modern coinage era under Queen Elizabeth II. For many collectors, it carries nostalgic and historical significance even if its monetary value is modest. While not every coin from this year will make you rich, understanding its background and knowing what makes certain examples valuable can help you appreciate the coin far more than its face value. The 1975 no-mint mark Queen Elizabeth 2-pence coin, known as the new Pence 2p. This coin has become the subject of online discussions, collector curiosity, and even inflated marketplace listings. But what is the truth about its history, rarity, and actual value in 2025? Let's explore it in a clear and fully detailed way. The 1975 new Pence 2p coin comes from the early years of Britain's decimalisation, the major currency reform that took place in 1971. Under this new system, £1 was divided into 100 new pence, replacing the old and complicated pounds, shillings, and pence structure that had been used for centuries. During the transitional years, coins were labelled new pence to help the public recognise the updated currency. Because of that, all 2-pence coins from 1971 until the early 1980s carried the words new pence, including the 1975 issue. The inscription new pence on this coin is not an error or rarity, it was the standard design at the time. The obverse of the coin features the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait was used on British coinage from the 1960s into the 1980s and is one of the most recognizable images of the Queen in her early reign. The reverse shows the Prince of Wales' feather plume surrounded by a coronet, accompanied by the inscription new pence above and the number 2 below. The coin is struck in bronze, weighs a little over 7 grams, and has a diameter of just under 26 millimeters. Like nearly all British decimal coins of the time, it carries no mint mark because it was produced by the Royal Mint, which did not use mint marks for circulating British coinage. Now let's address the important question of rarity. The 1975 new Pence 2p coin is not rare. It had an extremely high mintage, with more than 140 million pieces produced. Coins with such huge production numbers do not typically become rare unless most are destroyed, recalled, or lost, none of which applies to this coin. Many people mistakenly believe that the words new pence automatically mean rarity or high value, but that misunderstanding comes from the famous 1983 new pence era coin, which is a completely different case. The 1975 version is simply a normal circulation coin from its era. You may have seen online listings claiming that the 1975 2p is worth hundreds or even thousands. These listings can be misleading. Sellers often label common coins as rare in an attempt to attract attention or profit from uninformed buyers. Just because a coin is listed for a high price does not mean anyone is actually willing to pay that price. The true value of a coin is determined by what collectors are proven to pay, not what a seller hopes to receive. In most cases, a 1975 2-pence coin found in circulation today is worth only a small premium over face value. A well-circulated example is usually worth between its basic copper value and a small collector premium. Coins in better condition, such as very fine or extremely fine grades, may be worth slightly more. Uncirculated or mint-state examples can bring a higher collector price, often a couple of pounds or a few dollars, depending on the market and the buyer. But even in the highest realistic grades, the coin remains inexpensive compared to genuinely rare decimal issues. In the year 2025, the market value of the standard 1975 new Pence 2p remains modest. A normal circulated piece generally sells for around its basic value, while a clean and well-preserved uncirculated example might sell for a small amount above that, often in the £1 to £3 range depending on condition. Exceptional pieces or coins presented in sealed sets may bring a little more, but not dramatically. The truly valuable British 2p coins are specific era years, and 1975 is not one of them. It is important to recognize that while the 1975 2p coin is not financially valuable, it still holds historical and sentimental value. It represents an important moment of transition in British currency history. For many collectors, particularly newer ones, it is an excellent entry point into decimal coin collecting because it is affordable, easy to find, and tied to an interesting historical period. Many people enjoy collecting a full set of new pence coins from 1971 to 1981, and the 1975 coin plays an important role in that timeline. If you find one of these coins in your collection or in an old jar of change, it is a charming piece of British currency history, even if it isn't the rare treasure some listings suggest. The best thing you can do is assess its condition, compare it to real market sales, and decide whether it fits into your collection as a historical keepsake. The 1977 Queen Elizabeth II new pence 2p coin, a piece that many collectors talk about and one that often appears in discussions about rare and valuable British coins. We will explore its history, its characteristics, why some examples attract attention, the truth behind claims of rarity, and what this coin is actually worth in the year 2025. Sit back, relax, and let's begin our numismatic journey. The 2p coin was first introduced as part of the United Kingdom's decimalisation process in 1971. The early issues, including the 1977 example, carried the inscription, New Pence, to distinguish the new decimal coins from the old pre-decimal currency. On the front of the 1977 coin, you will find the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by the sculptor Arnold Machin. This portrait features the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. On the reverse is the classic emblem of the Prince of Wales, consisting of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet with a ribbon bearing the motto Ich dien, meaning I serve. Beneath the emblem sits the number 2, which designates the denomination. The 1977 2p coin was struck in enormous quantities for everyday use. More than 100 million pieces were minted, making this year one of the more common issues in the new pence series. The coin is made of bronze and weighs just over 7 grams, with a plain smooth edge, exactly as expected for circulating 2p coins of that time. Because of the large mintage, most 1977 coins that survived in circulation are extremely common and appear frequently in change, collections, and mixed coin lots. However, even with such large quantities, the 1977 2p coin continues to attract collector interest for several reasons. One is the general fascination with the phrase new pence, as some people mistakenly believe that all coins with this inscription are rare. Another point of interest is the occasional existence of proof-quality examples, which were produced in limited quantities for collectors. These proof strikes have a sharper, mirror-like finish and were not intended for everyday circulation. Proof coins typically command higher values than circulated examples, though they are still not considered exceptionally rare for this year. There is also interest in error coins. Sometimes during production, a coin may be struck off-center, double-struck, or produced with a die flaw. These errors are not common and can significantly increase value depending on severity and visual impact. From time to time, 1977 2p error coins appear for sale at very high asking prices. While some of these prices are exaggerated, genuine dramatic minting errors do hold real collector value. A major source of confusion surrounding the value of the 1977 2p coin comes from online listings that often show wildly inflated prices. Many sellers describe ordinary coins as rare or valuable even when they are not. There is also confusion with the famously rare 1983 new pence error coin. That particular coin was mistakenly struck with the old new pence design instead of the updated 2p inscription, making it legitimately scarce. Because people often mix up the years, many assume the 1977 coin belongs to the same category, even though it does not. So what is a realistic value for the 1977 Queen Elizabeth II new pence 2p coin today in 2025? A standard circulated example generally holds only a small premium above face value. Most pieces sell for a few pounds at most, depending on condition. A nicely preserved, almost uncirculated example may fetch slightly more, but still remains modest in value. Proof coins in their original packaging typically sell for a moderate premium and are often priced in the low tens of pounds. Genuine error coins are the only examples that can reach into the hundreds of pounds, but these are uncommon and must be carefully evaluated to confirm authenticity. The key to accurately assessing the value of any 1977 2-pence coin is condition, rarity of variation, and documented buyer interest. While some sellers may ask extremely high amounts, actual sales usually paint a more realistic picture. A genuine dramatic error, a certified proof example, or a coin in an exceptionally high grade can attract collectors, but ordinary circulated pieces remain common. If you happen to own a 1977 2-pence coin, the best thing you can do is examine it closely. Look for sharp details, unusual markings, or anything that might indicate an error. If you believe you have something special, consider seeking professional evaluation from a reputable grader. Store the coin properly in a protective sleeve or holder to prevent further wear. And most importantly, be cautious of exaggerated claims or inflated online listings. Knowledge is your best defense when navigating the world of coin collecting. The 1977 Queen Elizabeth II New Pence 2-pence coin is a fascinating piece of decimal coinage history, but it is not inherently rare. Its value in 2025 depends entirely on condition, whether it is a proof example, and whether any genuine minting errors are present. For most people, the coin is a pleasant and nostalgic collector's item with modest value, but for a few fortunate individuals, an unusual error coin could indeed be worth a significant amount of money. 1978 Queen Elizabeth II New Pence 2-pence coin, often referred to simply as the 1978 No Mint Mark 2p. Many collectors and casual owners alike have wondered whether this coin is rare, whether it carries hidden value, and whether it could be worth serious money in today's market. By the end of this video, you will know its history, its true rarity, its real collector value, and what it is worth in 2025. To understand this coin's place in British numismatic history, we need to return to the era shortly after decimalization. Britain officially adopted the decimal currency system in 1971, replacing the centuries-old pounds, shillings, and pence system with a modern structure based on 100 new pence per pound. The 2-pence coin, or 2p, was one of the new denominations introduced during this transition. For the first years of decimal coinage, the 2-pence pieces carried the inscription, New Pence, to distinguish them from the old pre-decimal pennies. By 1978, the coin featured the well-known portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machin, one of the most recognizable royal effigies in UK numismatic history. The reverse displays the Prince of Wales's feathers beneath a coronet, along with the motto, Ich dien, meaning, I serve. Like the other 2p coins of the era, the 1978 issue was struck in bronze and was intended for everyday circulation. One of the most important things to understand about this coin is that all standard British decimal coins of the period were struck without mint marks. Unlike the US Mint, where multiple mints use identifying letters, the Royal Mint traditionally did not place mint marks on circulating coins. This means the so-called No Mint Mark 1978 2-pence is simply the regular issue. It is not a special variety, not an error, and not a rare variant based on the absence of a mint mark. Every normal 1978 2p looks the same in this regard. The key factor that determines whether a coin is rare is mintage and survival. In the case of the 1978 2-pence, the Royal Mint produced well over 180 million examples for circulation. A mintage this high places the coin firmly in the category of common British decimal issues. For that reason, most pieces found in circulation or pulled from jars and drawers today have only modest collector value. However, there are always exceptions in numismatics. A coin may have a high original mintage, but high-grade examples, coins that were never used, never scratched, never handled, and still retain their original mint luster, can command greater prices than typical circulated pieces. This applies to the 1978 2p as well. In ordinary worn condition, the coin is extremely common. But in true uncirculated or brilliant uncirculated condition, the pool of surviving examples is much smaller. Collectors of decimal coins often seek these pristine pieces to complete sets of Queen Elizabeth II coinage. Furthermore, the Royal Mint also issued proof versions of the 1978 2p. Proof coins are specially struck with polished dies and carefully handled to produce high-quality, mirror-like surfaces. Proof coins are not meant for circulation and are typically sold in presentation sets. These proof examples are considerably more desirable and more valuable than the everyday circulation coins of the same year. Despite the appeal proof coins may hold, it is important to separate fact from fiction. In recent years, online marketplaces have seen a wave of inflated listings for common 2p coins, with some sellers claiming their 1978 coins are worth hundreds or even thousands of pounds. Many such listings are simply speculative, misleading, or based on confusion with genuinely rare error coins from other years. The most famous rare 2p error is the 1983 new pence variety, not the 1978 issue. Unfortunately, many people mistakenly assume any new pence coin is scarce, which is not the case. So what is the real value of the 1978 Queen Elizabeth II new pence 2p coin today? For most circulated examples, the value remains very modest. In 2025, the typical coin found in pocket change condition is usually worth only a few pence to a few pounds, depending on wear and appearance. These coins were mass-produced and millions still exist in drawers, boxes, and coin jars across the country. For uncirculated examples, coins that show no wear and still display their original mint gloss, collectors may pay more. While these values vary, high-grade uncirculated pieces can command a small premium, but still generally fall within lower price ranges, not the extreme figures sometimes seen online. Proof coins, due to their more refined finish and lower production numbers, can hold noticeably higher value than standard circulation strikes, especially when kept in their original packaging. In exceptional cases, a coin that has been professionally graded by a recognized grading service and assigned a top-tier grade can attract stronger interest from collectors. Grading provides confidence, authenticity, and a clear condition standard. However, even with grading, the massive mintage of this coin means sky-high valuations are unlikely except for the very finest examples or rare set-related presentations. As we look at 2025 and beyond, the market outlook for the 1978 new pence 2p remains stable. It is a historically interesting, attractive coin that fits well in decimal collections, but it is not a rarity. Its value comes more from its appeal as part of a complete era set than from scarcity. Because of this, prices generally remain affordable for collectors and accessible for beginners entering the hobby. The 1978 2p coin is common in circulation, modestly valued in ordinary condition, slightly more valuable in uncirculated condition, and most collectible in proof format. Claims of extraordinary value should always be approached with caution, as many high-priced listings do not reflect actual market demand. If you believe you own an exceptional example, the best next step is to compare it to genuine uncirculated and proof examples, consider professional grading, and check real auction results rather than speculative online listings. The 1979 Queen Elizabeth II new pence 2p coin. This coin has become the subject of curiosity, speculation, and countless online claims. Many people believe they might be holding a rare treasure worth a fortune, while others wonder whether the stories surrounding it are exaggerated. So today, we're going to break down the full story behind this coin, the truth about its rarity, the myths that constantly surround it, its actual value, and what you can realistically expect in the coin market in 2025. To understand the importance of the 1979 2p coin, we have to travel back to the early days of decimalization in the United Kingdom. Decimalization officially took place in 1971, marking a major transformation in the British currency system after centuries of pounds, shillings, and pence. The new decimal system introduced new denominations, new designs, and a fresh phase in the history of British coinage. Among these coins was the bronze 2p piece, often casually called the 2p. During its early years, all 2p coins featured the inscription, New Pence, rather than the more familiar, 2p. This wording appeared on the reverse side of the coin and was originally intended to distinguish new decimal coins from the older pre-decimal coins still circulating at the time. Although the public quickly adapted to the new system, the words, New Pence, remained for more than a decade until the Royal Mint officially changed the wording from New Pence to 2p, beginning in 1982. Because of that change, any coin dated before 1982 will say, New Pence, and any coin from 1982 onward will say, 2p, except for one legendary error from 1983. This is important because many people mistakenly believe any coin marked, New Pence, is rare or special, but in reality millions were produced in the 1970s, including the 1979 issue. The 1979 2p coin itself features the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machin on the obverse. This portrait, with the Queen wearing a tiara, was used on British coins for several decades and has become iconic in its own right. The reverse of the coin displays the crowned plume of ostrich feathers, the badge of the Prince of Wales, accompanied by the inscription, New Pence, and the denomination, 2. Like the majority of circulating coins in the United Kingdom, the 1979 2p piece has no mint mark, as the Royal Mint traditionally does not place identifying mint letters on standard circulation issues. The coin is composed of bronze, giving it a reddish-brown color when fresh and a darker, sometimes almost chocolate-brown appearance as it ages. Weighing just over 7 grams and measuring almost 26 millimeters in diameter, it is one of the larger and heavier coins produced during the early decimal period. Now let's talk about mintage, because this is the key factor that determines rarity. More than 260 million 2p coins were struck in 1979. With such a massive production figure, the coin was widely circulated and extremely common. So when we talk about rarity, it becomes clear that the standard 1979 2p coin is not rare in the traditional numismatic sense. Millions of examples survive today, and countless pieces remain in circulation, in jars, in drawers, and in collections across the country. So where did the idea come from that the 1979 2p coin might be valuable? Much of it comes from confusion around the 1983 2p error. In 1983, a small number of coins were accidentally struck with the old, New Pence, wording even though the design had officially changed the previous year. Those coins are truly rare and can command very high prices among collectors. However, the average 1979 2p coin is not part of that error group. It is simply a standard circulation coin from the late 1970s. Because of this ongoing confusion, many sellers online list common 2p coins from the 70s for unrealistic prices. Some of these listings are dramatically inflated, sometimes claiming the coins are incredibly rare or worth hundreds of pounds. Buyers who don't understand the history often assume any coin with New Pence is special when in reality only specific dates with known minting mistakes carry significant value. The 1979 issue, being a standard mintage, does not fall into that category. However, condition still plays a role. A heavily circulated 1979 2p coin, with scratches, discoloration, or wear, is generally worth only its face value. A coin in nicer condition, perhaps one that retains its original shine and exhibits minimal wear, may be worth a little more to a collector who is trying to complete a date run of early decimal coins. An uncirculated example, especially one stored carefully since the year of issue with no marks or surface blemishes, does have the potential to fetch a small premium. But even in high grade, the value remains modest. Now let's discuss the realistic market values. A circulated 1979 2p coin normally trades for only a few pence above face value. In many cases, dealers will pay face value only. A nicer example, perhaps in very fine or extremely fine condition, might sell for slightly more, but still usually under £1. When we move up to uncirculated condition, the price becomes a bit more interesting, but still not dramatic. A brilliant uncirculated 1979 2p coin might sell for a few pounds depending on the buyer. If the coin is professionally graded and achieves an exceptionally high grade, the value could increase somewhat, but because the coin is not inherently rare, the market demand remains limited. Collectors typically prioritize rarity, historical significance, unusual errors, or highly sought-after series. A common bronze decimal coin from the late 1970s does not fall into the category of high-demand items. This keeps prices stable and relatively low, even in excellent condition. Now let's take a look at the market in 2025. As of this year, interest in early decimal coins has grown slightly, as younger collectors explore the coins they remember from childhood and older collectors revisit the early days of the decimal era. But this increase in interest has not dramatically changed the value of common coins. The market remains consistent, with very little fluctuation compared to earlier years. The 1979 2-pence coin continues to be a common and inexpensive collectible, with values hovering around face value to a few pounds depending on condition. There is, however, one area where value can sharply increase, and that is if a coin displays a genuine minting error. True mint errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double strikes, or other significant anomalies can draw collector attention. These errors are rare across all denominations and can add real value if authenticated. But ordinary wear, scratches, discoloration, corrosion, or environmental damage are not considered mint errors and do not increase value. In summary, the 1979 Queen Elizabeth II new Pence 2-pence coin is an interesting piece of the United Kingdom's decimal coinage history, but it is not a rare coin, nor is it typically valuable. Its worth comes more from its story and its place in Britain's currency evolution than from any monetary premium. For most people who find one of these coins, it is a fun discovery, a nostalgic reminder of British coinage from decades past, and a pleasant addition to a collection. But it is not a life-changing treasure. If you have one in exceptional condition, keep it safe, especially if you enjoy collecting or assembling a complete set of early decimal coins. If you were hoping it might be worth a large amount of money, it's important to understand the facts so you aren't misled by inflated listings or unverified claims. Thank you for joining me on this deep exploration of the 1979 2-pence coin. If you enjoy learning about coins, currency history, and the real stories behind the myths and legends of numismatics, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next in-depth feature. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have a coin you would like me to research or evaluate. I'm always excited to help uncover the truth behind the coins that spark curiosity.